Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Tuesday evening to you all. Hope you guys have been having a great day out there so far, having a great evening and a great start to your week. Got you an update this evening. We're really going to talk about what's going to happen the rest of the work week as far as weather, and really we're talking severe weather like we have right now at this moment. There's a lot of areas experiencing some nasty thunderstorms with intense heating, which pretty much destabilizes that atmosphere, and then you get these huge storms that fire up, damaging winds. There's a tornado threat also out there. There was a tornado right outside the Washington, D.C. area. Really impressive for this area of the country, but it was actually confirmed by a pretty well-known meteorologist in that area. There was a tornado ongoing. I don't think it is, but anyways, there's been a nasty line of storms that's been working its way out the Dakotas into southern Minnesota, into portions of Iowa. It's doing so right now, creating a pretty dangerous environment for damaging winds. So definitely stay tuned tonight. You know, there's a lot of people going live right now and keeping a lot of people safe. So stay tuned with them. But I want to do my part, make a video tonight, really focusing in on the next couple days. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. Appreciate y'all's support. I really do. Shout out to my channel members who support me monthly and just people who continue to tune in regularly and can't talk right and just continue to watch my content. I really appreciate you guys. If you guys got anything I can pray about, please put it in the comments below so I can pray over it and so others can do so too. So let's take a look at the satellite here and what is going on. And what this shows us is basically the lower cloud tops and the higher cloud tops. So the more intense kind of white colors right in here are those higher cloud tops, basically where those most intense updrafts are. So that's where we have our strongest thunderstorms. And this is where that intense line of storms is right now, really entering areas of Iowa. This will continue, threaten Chicago maybe later tonight, get into the Ohio Valley, and we will see how these storms react to this environment, to the Ohio Valley. But you can honestly, you can see, where the ridge of high pressure is. It is right here, the center of high pressure, and all this energy is kind of rotating along this center of high pressure right here. You got a big piece of energy right here. A complex of storms has been working its way through West Virginia, areas of eastern Kentucky, and is in North Carolina as I speak right now with severe storms. You got severe warning storm in this area, and then you got this complex of storms down here in southern areas of Mississippi, Louisiana, that's been creating a flooding threat today, and then just regular daytime pop-up showers and thunderstorms with convection flowing along this ridge of high pressure. So let's talk about what could happen tomorrow. And I was reading the discussion and did not have this all the way up for you guys, but check it out. You got a slight risk for this portion of the country right here. This includes a heavily populated area, the entire state of North Carolina, just about the entire northern half of South Carolina, a large chunk of Virginia, the entire southern half of West Virginia, and Kentucky, areas of Indiana, Ohio, have this slight risk for tomorrow. So we're expecting some severe storms in this portion of the country, and you even got the marginal risk also. It's level 1 out of 5, but you can expect some severe storms in this area too. Just the confidence isn't as high as far as the severity level of this and how widespread it can potentially be. But a tornado threat, it's not nothing, guys. I know you don't see anything on the screen, but it's less than 2%. So just keep in mind that you could have a tornado tomorrow or two, but the chances are pretty low. The biggest threat will be damaging winds, 15% chance of damaging winds and 25 miles in any given location. These are winds pushing 55 to 60 miles per hour in this region. Hail threat will also be there, just not as high, as basically the flow around this ridge continues to pump out. Then for Thursday, you have a slight risk again, pretty much in the same areas, but it actually digs a little further south. So the same areas will be under the gun again for severe weather. Talking about Virginia, North Carolina, and a larger chunk of South Carolina, and then starting to get into areas of northeast Georgia also. So severe weather will be ongoing. Probably the same kind of risk ongoing, with damaging winds being the main risk with this. So let's talk about how this can unfold. So we'll take a look at what this potentially could look like in the middle of the night tonight. This potentially, I'm going to use this word a lot because it's always hard to figure out the flow around this ridge of high pressure and how these storms are actually going to evolve compared to what the HRRR model and the NAM is showing. But the HRRR model shows that it could potentially look like this from what's left over of the energy back to the west right now, entering Iowa with that intense line of storms producing hurricane force winds a little bit earlier today. Very, very intense here. This will move into the Ohio Valley with additional convection firing up. So watch out Indianapolis a little bit later tonight into the morning hours. Watch out middle of Ohio, even up into Cleveland. Even if you don't see a storm exactly over your area geographically in your state, you could potentially still see a storm. But we're starting to get, this is for Wednesday morning, right? We're moving through this area of convection will continue to flow a little bit further east and then southeast into West Virginia. And then maybe some more convection fires up here in southern Ohio, northern Kentucky. Maybe an intense storm or two can get going, but maybe not quite as active in this part of the country tomorrow than compared to today and what happened and kind of evolved in this area of the country today. But some intense storms are certainly possible in areas of eastern Kentucky tomorrow, southern Ohio, and maybe a storm or two even in northern portions of Ohio, Indiana, and maybe even Illinois, even though it's not showing it here. We continue to move into Thursday, and as far as the latest HRRR model will go, and then maybe another area of showers and storms start to move into Illinois. This is for Thursday, around midday Thursday into Thursday afternoon, and we have to watch for another cluster of storms that might evolve into something more intense as the day goes on, as it gets into Indiana for your Thursday afternoon for Indiana, maybe Ohio and Kentucky. But we have to see and watch how this unfolds here. We'll switch it a little bit further east and southeast. So this is right now what the HRRR model is thinking is in North Carolina right now. And it's doing a decent job as there is an area of showers and storms sagging south throughout North Carolina. It's about to enter the Charlotte area as I speak. And some of these storms are severe. They are severe warned storms. This will continue, and this model, the HRRR model, likes the idea of this weakening, dwindling away with the lack of daytime heating in place in the overnight hours. Then as we get into tomorrow morning, watch this complex of storms work its way into West Virginia, into Virginia. This will probably enter a highly unstable atmosphere in North Carolina more, with additional showers and storms developing in Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina out ahead of these storms. How exactly this evolves, it's anybody's guess sometimes with these setups, but in general, this is for tomorrow afternoon. These storms can be very intense in Virginia, West Virginia, and North Carolina as we're moving into the not overnight hours, but into the evening hours. You're heading home from work. Widespread, strong to severe storms are possible in this entire area of the country. Anybody, anywhere from Knoxville, Boone, North Carolina, all the way to Charlotte, to Raleigh, up to Charlottesville, severe storms all the way up to Charleston, West Virginia. Anybody could see severe storms. And these will continue to sag south, and I think the biggest threat for maybe deeper into the Carolinas further south, for example, getting into the coastal plains of North Carolina, getting a little bit deeper into South Carolina, maybe Myrtle Beach, will actually be maybe more so in the overnight hours. To mention, I don't think I've had here in Columbia, for example, in my Lexington area where I live, I don't think I've had an overnight storm yet this summer where, you're sleeping and 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, you're kind of woken up by a big old rumble of thunder and the storm sneaks up. That has not been the case around these parts of the this part of the country here, but this might be the case overnight tomorrow night into Thursday, and then we continue into Thursday morning, and then we get all the way out into about Thursday midday, early afternoon, and here comes another complex of showers and storms entering from the north or northwest, and then pivoting around this high, which is sitting back over here. The flow is moving this way. So this will be another area of severe storms wrapping through. And then, we look a little further east and see what could involve here. Watch out Washington, D.C. And then let's back this up and make sure it's in the right model run, 18Z here. And this is starting tomorrow. This is a little further east. Watch out Washington, D.C. Watch out Philadelphia. Some storms could get into this area in Baltimore. As we're getting into tomorrow afternoon, some of these storms can be rather intense, entering Maryland, entering southern PA, but I think southern PA points south will be the area of the nastiest storms Damaging winds, the biggest threat. And you notice I'm not saying really specific towns or cities. It's hard to do this. It is going to be widely. I think anybody's going to have a chance to get it equally hit in this slight risk. I really do think. I think the difference really is only the timing of the day. But this will continue to fire up through. We'll get into the overnight hours. Things settle down tomorrow night. And then again, we watch for more additional storms. Showers and storms begin to develop as we get into. And I think I led y'all astray with the latest one. I think this was actually what was going on earlier today, but actually this is the frame of what potentially it could look like for Thursday afternoon. So the last one, when I was talking about how there's another additional line of showers and storms moving through Thursday afternoon, disregard that, but that could be the case. It could. But as far as how much energy to the atmosphere in the mid-levels, there's plenty. And this is really the best thing we look at. So we're getting into tomorrow, and look at all the energy, the fuel to the atmosphere that really builds. You got CAPE levels reaching 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram in the mid-levels, not the surface. At the surface, it'll be even higher. So these pieces of energy are rounding the upper base of this ridge of high pressure and then entering a highly unstable atmosphere down here. So temperatures are going to be all the way up into the 90s, pushing 100 degrees. Heat index will be pushing 110. You're going to be begging for a storm down here in the Carolinas and Virginia. And in fact, you look at the watches and advisories. Everybody in the orange, that's a heat advisory. The purple, excessive heat warnings. But look, they have introduced heat advisories tomorrow for the Eastern Carolinas, Myrtle Beach, for example, Raleigh, Southeast Virginia. It takes a lot for you guys to get a heat advisory. So that tells you that it's going to get very, very hot tomorrow ahead of these storms in the Eastern Carolinas. I really think it is. In fact, certain areas will get to 100 degrees with a heat index pushing well over 110. I really think will be the case, and it'll be very hot over here under the influence of the ridge, where you guys won't see much storms at all, unfortunately. Y'all will just be baking alive. And then the dew points in the hottest parts of the day will be relentless. Very moist air, dew points into the 70s in this region of the country, where you guys have a heat advisor. I think it's going to be very uncomfortable in the Carolinas tomorrow, especially in the Eastern Carolinas. But you guys actually are the ones that have the highest chance to see rain, but it could be severe. So the atmosphere is going to heat up, really destabilize tomorrow. So just be careful. You're going to feel it in the air tomorrow. You can feel it in the air out there right now. But in the southeast and mid-Atlantic, the atmosphere is going to destabilize. And then Thursday, we'll do the same thing, and we're going to have some rounds of severe storms. But that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all stay safe out there with the ongoing severe weather. God bless.